Have you ever wanted to flip a house but don't know where to start? Stay tuned for some next level insight. All right, I'm here with Mike Soper, a young veteran, a savvy veteran, and I'm just gonna ask you some questions.
Sure.
I know you're a busy guy. How long have you been working in the real estate industry?
Since I can remember, I remember as a kid, 6 to 8 years old, going up to Wolf Industries up in York, Pennsylvania, climbing over kitchen cabinet boxes with my dad's company. Right after high school, started a construction company, worked for investors. Then it got to the point where I was like, what are these guys doing? Let me just do it. So I've been doing that ever since, buying and selling properties. Do anywhere between 10 to 20 a year. And things are pretty good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Now, you kind of just answered it, but in more detail, how did you get started in the investment field? We know your family's come from the contractor, the trades, you've been around flipping your whole life.
Sure.
But how did you get started just in that investment, actually going out on your own, buying your first property?
100%, yeah. So once again, my construction company after high school, I started doing kitchens and bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Hated it. Homeowners would take, weeks to select what color kitchen cabinet you wanted. And then you get the cabinet, it's not right, sends it back, slows down all your cash flows. It's a tough business.
Right.
So then I started working for real estate investors at the time. Some really good guys that I'm still friends with now. And I was their general contractor. I met their real estate agents to hear from them, what kind of finishes do they want in this house. I met with their lenders when it was time for a draw schedule. So I started taking in contacts here and there. Here's a lender here, here's an agent here. And I started to build up my Rolodex to where it got to a point where, okay, I'm pretty much doing this entire show now. Why is there another guy in this place? That's how I got into it myself. I bought my first property when I was 19, wow. About to turn 20, in Kingsville. So Baltimore County, Harford County line there. Mm-hmm. It was a fantastic project. Took entirely too long because me being a contractor, I essentially made love to the house. I fell in love with the property, crown molding and wainscoting everywhere, and killed my budget, killed my timeline, but it still was a successful transaction, and just gave me that much more motivation to keep going.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about your systems that you're getting into now, because what your business looked like 5 years ago, it's totally different now. Mm-hmm. So what have been some of the most rewarding aspects of your time in this industry?
So I used to go to the settlement table on every transaction. I don't so much do that anymore. But seeing the end buyer's face, on that final walkthrough, them walking through the house and they're just enjoying and visualizing raising their families in one of my houses.
Right.
There's nothing better than that. Something that, was a distressed property that was seen as an eyesore for years, completely transformed, and it's a place that somebody can call home.
Yeah, that is really cool because that starts in your head.
Oh, yeah.
There's this decrepit property. Fast forward 4 months and you have a beautiful property, a family moving into it to make memories.
Sure.
That is legitimate. So how many homes have you actually flipped here in this Maryland area?
So I would say, what is this? I would say going on 6.5 years. I would say over 50, maybe 60-ish properties.
So
between, new construction, mm-hmm. which I've done a couple of, between the attic levels that we love so much,
right.
And then just simple cosmetic rehabs, changing out cabinets, fixtures, relisting it.
Now, Mike, I have to ask you, because we worked on some deals before,
mm-hmm.
and whenever you're flipping 60 houses over 6 years, you're going to make some mistakes.
Oh, gosh.
Just share with us one of the biggest lessons learned, mistakes you made, and what you might do to combat that in the future.
100%. Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I was in the middle of, probably about 15 renovations at the time. I specialize in the construction type called an add-a level, to where, I'll take a roof off of a house and add square footage to it.
Sure. Do
full gut renovations. Had this amazing property downtown Federal Hill. Prime location, mm-hmm. corner unit. Doesn't get any better than that. And through the course of the construction, among all the other jobs that we had going on, I got a call on a Saturday morning, from the fire department saying, hey, there's a hole in your building and I need you to come down here immediately. So I get down there. There is, probably a 6 foot by 6 foot hole in the side of the building. The city's chief engineer said, hey, I got to make a call, get your engineer on the phone in the next 30 minutes, or we have to level the property due to public safety, which I can't argue with. It's a
Right.
corner unit, people walking down on the street. So obviously, long story short, 8 a.m. on a Saturday, my engineer's not picking up the phone right away, so they had to level the property. It was a significant loss, but more than that, it was an amazing learning experience. Being able to look back on it now and just seeing the small mistakes that led to several $100,000 of a loss.
Wow.
It's crazy. I got to looking at my insurance policy, and if I would have paid $200 to $250 more to get a blanket coverage policy to cover the scope of the renovations that we were doing, I would have been fully insured.
So long story short is, you bought an investment property and they knocked it down.
They knocked it down.
That's crazy. And you
Prime
lost a
real
lot of money.
estate, lost a lot.
And I bet you have that blanket policy now for everything?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Insurance, business systems, scopes of work, expectations from contractors, timelines. My business is completely revamped. It was a huge loss. I did not get discouraged by it whatsoever. It was a learning lesson, a very expensive lesson, but I think it humbled me pretty well. Mm-hmm. And it made me a better person, and it made me a better real estate investor.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that.
Yeah.
We actually were pulling our signs out of the rubble. My sign was on that building when it fell over.
Oh,
so
it would have been a good listing.
Yeah, it would have been. Hey, thanks for reliving that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you win and sometimes you learn.
Sure.
So these are the types of guys you want to learn from, because they've been there, done that, doing 10 deals at a time, 15 deals at a time, making a lot of money, sometimes losing a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You're much better off learning from someone else's mistakes than making them yourself.
Of course.
So another question for you. For someone who's considering purchasing their first investment property, which is a lot of people out there. I want to do this. I want to get into it. Oh, yeah. What's the best way to determine the ideal price point and location?
Oh, gosh.
How do you guys do it?
So even though I am, I guess you would call it a seasoned investor, I still network with local real estate agents that know what they're doing. I don't know how many phone calls you and I had together of picking your brain. Hey, I got a rancher in Falston. If I do X, Y, and Z, what do you think? Within 5 minutes, oh, you could sell it for X.
Right.
You need to network with local real estate agents that know the markets better than you do.
Right.
Okay. Don't think that you know everything. I think that's absolutely crucial. Good real estate agents, there's a lot of them. Okay.
Right.
Finding a good real estate agent that looks out for your interest as well as their own is a very hard thing to come by. A lot of agents, they want to list a property, have the thing sell, move on to the next one. While as, my relationship with you is, I buy a property and it's, okay, Mike, here's the next opportunity, because we're building something, separately, but together at the same time. You want to see me grow, and at the same time, you're able to grow.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, the flip side of that is there's also a lot of investors, and you got to work with good ones who are going to take care of your clients and not make these situations a nightmare. Because I can't tell you how many times we've listed a house, and there's an inspection punch list a mile long, and they don't want to do it. Why do I have to put a screen in the window? Why am I fixing this? And it's like, hey man, these are human beings buying the house.
100%.
It'd be nice if we treated them like human beings.
Yeah.
And that's kind of rare, unfortunately, in both of our spaces.
Yeah. My whole thing is, if I wouldn't move my own family into a property, it's not a product that I'm going to put out there on the street. Call it morals, call it ethics. I think it's just being a decent human being at the end of the day. Having someone that, especially with the way loans are right now, to where they're putting next to no money down on a property.
Right.
These people are pretty much putting their entire life savings down
It's
on
a
a down
big
payment.
deal.
And if you cover up, a busted sewer line, or, the basement's flooding, and, you knew about it and you just covered it up, these are $10,000 to $20,000 that these people are going to have to come out of their pocket that they don't have. They're going to be upside down on their properties, and it's not right. And same thing with real estate agents, same thing with buyers, same things with sellers. At the end of the day, yes, making money is fantastic, but have ethics while you do it.
Yeah, and you know what? Losing 10, 20K is not nearly as bad as losing your entire reputation.
100%.
That's how you go out of business like that.
Yep.
So, how long does it typically take to see results on an investment in your world?
So it depends. So when you're talking about flipping houses, typically you don't see a dollar until you hit the settlement table. When you're talking about a long-term investment property like a single door rental or multi-door rental, those returns can come immediately.
Right.
Once you refinance out, get your money, start having your cash flow come in. So what I always say to people that want to get into the business, want to get into real estate investing, you need to establish your target. What are your goals? How much money do you need to make? What do you need to do to reach those goals? Because my goals in real estate are different than your goals, and vice versa for everybody else. So you need to write down your goals. You need to put a dollar amount of what you need to make in order for you to create the life that you want, and then from there, map out your strategy. By no means are you going to get rich overnight by flipping real estate, renting real estate, owning real estate.
Doing anything.
It's a progression, and you gotta love it, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Clarity is so important, and we talk with our agents on our team all the time. Is what do you want?
Yeah.
And the biggest mistake people make is you assume you know what people want. You don't know what they want. You don't know what this investor wants. You don't know what the seller who you're trying to acquire their property wants.
Yeah.
So that's just
where are you shooting if you don't have a target?
Right. Most people aim at nothing and hit it with amazing accuracy. Write that down. So what are some of the most confusing aspects of your job? Because I'm sure you see some crazy wrinkles. Where does a seasoned investor, even like you, sometimes go, I got to look closer at this?
Yeah. So it comes to, I think it's two things. I think it is the financial and emotional disconnect in the business, to where in business you need to make financial decisions that will impact your business, the way you want.
Right.
At the same time, what we just talked about, ethics, you need to be able to separate yourself with that as well and balance good business ethics and emotion, because it is emotion.
Right.
At the end of the day, if there's a repair order that comes out, just like we were talking about, and the sellers need X amount of money to do it, and I have an extra $5K, I'm gonna give them seller help. They're happy, they love the home. There's been times, about 6 months ago, I accepted an offer, especially in this crazy market where people are overpaying. I accepted an offer $10,000 less than the competition was offering, because that girl called me personally and said, I love the house. I would love for my kid to go to school. I don't know if that's necessarily legal in the real estate world or not.
Yeah, but it's real stuff.
That touched me to where that person wants my home. It's not somebody that might just waste my time and get to the inspections and say, a couple weeks before settlement, I don't want it. So
it's really tough to separate the logic and the emotion from all sides of things.
Yeah.
So that's never going away either. And that's a constant battle. No one ever figures that out completely.
Never.
So I can totally see how that can get a little bit of gray area there. Do you think anyone can be successful investing in real estate?
I do believe so. I believe it comes down to a mindset. If you do not have, and maybe not even in real estate, in general, if you don't have a mindset towards wanting more out of life, okay, because that's what success is wanting more out of life. It's not the dollars and cents that you make, it's the vision that you have of yourself in 10 years, the vision you have for your family in 10 years. That's the person I'm chasing. I'm not trying to be, the big bad Mike right now. Mm-hmm. I'm chasing that guy in 10 years because that guy is living the life that I want to live. And my mindset is just so honed in on where I want to be. Having a building collapse, it would have crushed a lot of people, and it hurt. It did not discourage me one bit. The next day, we got right to business planning and recovered from that. So mindset's crucial.
I was so impressed with how you reacted to that, because when you were, 25 at the time?
Yeah, 24, 25.
24 years old, you take a six-figure loss, multiple six-figure loss. I mean, that's going to bury most people. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to be depressed, frustrated, digging yourself out of the hole. And I know there's like a 5-year plan in place to get that taken care of. And look at you now, banging it out, creating systems. And you got so much better. So do you have any tips other than the mindset? We hear that a lot. And that again, holds true for anything in life. If you're not right up here, I always say if there's no enemy within, the enemies outside can do you no harm. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not good up here, it doesn't matter if you get all the leads and you're excellent at everything else. If your mindset sucks, nothing's going to save you.
No.
You're going to fail. particularly in real estate investing when you're throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars around.
A lot of money on the street, yeah.
And it's the fastest way to make a good living. It's also the fastest way to dig yourself a hole. People always talk about, oh my God, there's no glass ceiling. I can make infinite amount of income. Real estate agents, real estate investors, what they don't tell you is there's no floor.
Yeah.
You can go so far in debt that your grandkids won't be able to, go to college.
And you could be the best real estate agent in the business. I mean, the best sales tactics. But at the end of the day, if you're not a decent human being, your reputation is going to be short-lived. You could be the best salesman, get top dollar for every single house. But over time, if you burn a bridge here, burn a bridge there, your business is gone.
Yeah. So Mike, you've been doing a lot of different things. If you're not following Mike Soper, check out Victor Bravo. They have an amazing marketing company that I hope to collaborate with.
Oh yeah.
They have a construction company. They have a wealth of knowledge. And I know our goals are similar in terms of the end game. You're flipping houses because you want to own multifamily product because you believe in long-term buying and holding.
100%.
So in closing up, tell everybody what your goals are, why those are your goals, and what companies are you building so you can achieve those goals.
Correct. So my vision is I want to be with my family, and ever since I was a young kid, I've worked 7 days a week. Sometimes I leave on Thanksgiving. Sometimes I'll get a business call during Christmas. And my goal is to spend as much time with my family as I get older as possible. Only way to do that and maintain the same, lifestyle that I want, because I do like nicer things.
Oh, I know.
Is to have your systems in place and to disconnect myself from the businesses. So business systems, and I've learned this over the last couple years, are just crucial to where me 5 years ago, if I was gone for a weekend or I went on vacation, my business would stop. It would not continue to grow. You cannot be scared to hire. You cannot be scared to hire high dollar individuals. We're looking at bringing on a VP of operations, $150,000 a year pay. That's scary for I don't even pay myself that, while the business is growing. And to think that you're going to bring somebody in that's going to make that, it's discouraging a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you want to get to those next steps, and my goal is freedom,
right,
to do whatever I want to do, go to my daughter's sporting events, go on vacation when I want, I need to be able to disconnect myself from the business without the business stopping. Right. So we're putting different levels and different layers to everything to where, what's an issue that most real estate investors have? Lead generation, marketing company. We get our own leads. I'm not relying on anybody else. Still network with real estate agents on good deals. However, I have my own marketing stream to where we have our own in-house properties.
All right, so that's company one, Victor Bravo, real estate marketing. Write that down, Victor Bravo. You guys do a great job with that.
It's going well.
So you have that.
Yeah, construction company. Having a systematized construction company to where there is an SOP for everything, standard operating procedure. I did not have that 5 years ago. It's, I get a call from one of my plumbers on the phone. Oh, I'm not feeling good today. Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Come in when you're ready. There's no guidelines. There's no,
right,
expectations set. And over time, it started to get further and further away from me because there was nothing in place for the checks and balances.
If you don't pull the weeds, they're going to take over the garden, man.
100%. And a lot of those guys were, knew my father for many years. So I brought them in, looked at them like uncles. At the end of the day, it's business,
right,
and if you're not following, our company's protocols, if you're not following our systems, it's just not a good fit. And that's with contractors. This is not, in a corporate office. This is plumbers, electricians, drywall guys. If you can't fit the system, I can't work with you.
Right. So systems is the key.
Oh, gosh.
Systems make the ordinary extraordinary.
Yeah.
There's books on this. The E-Myth Revisited is one that comes to mind. If you don't have a system for what you're doing it wrong. If you can't easily articulate your system, you don't have it down right.
Mm-hmm.
So in closing, Mike Soper's a friend of mine, great real estate investor, great businessman. If you're interested in finding deals, or if you're looking to sell a deal, call this guy. You can tell he knows what he's doing. He's going to treat you fair. And there's a whole company designed to find these opportunities. So that's Victor Bravo. It sounds like you have some hiring opportunities.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I know you're always looking for quality contractors that fit the system.
100%. Yeah. Always looking for good, drywall guys, good handymen, guys that, can kind of do it all. That's great for the end of the projects where you're putting on doorknobs and those little tasks, they add up. I don't know how many times, and we did that on that property out in Falston. It took 2 weeks to essentially put on kitchen cabinet hardware and doorknobs and clean the house. Those little things because once again, I didn't have a person designated for that. So.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for coming out. Mike Soper, Victor Bravo, thanks for tuning in.